going to be the preparation for our sleeve. We're going to do the placket for the button and buttonholes. Like it's going to look like this when it's finished. Very nice. See, it's a muck placket with a mitered corner, one straight side and one mitered corner. Then we have 3 buttons, and the buttons will keep it in place. You know, and then the lining later on is going to clean it up, finish it off. There underneath there is a blind hem. Okay, so see in here on the inside when we finished, see there's a blind stitch, and that keeps it in place for the lining to be attached. Okay, so the way we're going to start out is you have the 2 pieces. You have the upper sleeve and you have your lower sleeve, and they are this, you know, with these little extensions. So you want to line these up on top of each other, and you got to make sure when you line them up that this part here, which becomes your mitered corner, has to kind of line up with the other side. So you cannot make it longer or shorter. You have to see everything is counted for. So we'll start out by lining that particular seam up. And of course I got too many things cooking here. All right. You line up, make sure you got these corners lined up real nice. And so put a pin here. And then, you know, remember first and last, line those up. Then you can, okay, see, you also have your notches, 2 notches that you will use to line up. And this is going to be a half inch seam. Now, I find it the best to make sure you're on the right track. Take a ruler and a little bit chalk, and just give yourself your half inch for the corner. The reason for it is that too many of you just kind of zip around these things like curves. These are not curves, they're corners. So it helps if you kind of line it up for yourself. So when you come in, you pivot. Now, you're going to only, from this part here, just kind of measure 2 inches down, and we're going to stop right here. So the lower part is going to stay open, but about 2 inches below here. So we're going to come in on a half inch, pivot, stop. Okay? So I'm going to run that real quick. We're going to do that. And then we're going to clip in here, but I'll show that after I get it done. That's my little scissor. Okay. All right, let's stop it, and we'll put these a little bit somewhere else for a minute. Okay, so now you can see it. All right.
Yeah.
This is a 2.5 stitch, back stitch in the beginning and the end. Do you have enough light?
Yeah.
Okay. Try to move your pins before you. Try not to sew over the pins. See, make sure these things keep on top of each other. Okay. See, slow down, pivot, and come back over here. Pivot. And then when you get here, do a little back stitch and stop. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we're going to take this here and we're going to clip in the corner up here. So this upper part is going to be pressed open and the lower part is going to be just pressed to one side when it's finished. Before we press it, we're going to take care of our mitered corner and then we're going to press it all in the same time. As long as they don't overlap, you can finish things up. And okay, now here, see, this is the center of the mitered corner. You fold it, right sides touching, and also when you do this, always make sure that these things in here don't end up looking like this. You got to stay exact. These are all details that you have to, follow. They have to be, precise. Precision. Okay, so this is that corner. Now this here, okay, not folding down. Also, this has to be folded up like this. Now here again you have a notch that tells you where the hem is, but you also can double measure because your hem is 1.5 inches. So if you're missing it, you can tell. Okay, 1.5 inches. All right, very good. Pin that going upward. Okay, one is on an angle and one is up. Okay, now this here is 1/2 inch. Okay, this seam here, I'm just going to mark it just so you guys can kind of follow. But this one, because I like the overlap not to be too narrow, I changed it to 1/4. So this one here, we're only going to use 1/4 inch. Okay? All right? Everybody got that?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Is it on the pattern? Yep.
It's not on the
It's
pattern.
not on the pattern.
No, that's why I'm stressing it. This is the 1/2 inch is on the pattern, but the 1/4 inch isn't. Okay? It's 1/2 inch on the pattern. I don't want it to have. I want to gain 1/4 inch because then the overlap, you see this overlap here later, if it's like that, it's not as nice than if you have it a little more. Mm-hmm. It gives you just a better proportion for the way it looks and also for the buttons. So sometimes you have to do a little, jiggling around.
Is this
okay.
on the other half of the sleeve, like other side of it?
This
Oh, there's 2
is
pieces.
this is the top right now.
Okay.
We're doing the placket. See, it's the back piece of the you have it. What we're doing here is what they call a 2-piece sleeve. There is an underside and a top side. And what's so nice about a 2-piece is the way it curves into the front because it follows the natural shape of your arm. We think that we like straight, but we're not. We have, actually a curve. Okay, so let me finish this little seam real quick. These little seams. Oh, do I have poles over there? They don't need to watch, but I guess, okay, 1/2 inch. Back stitch, 2.5 stitch. Back stitch in the beginning. And again, make sure these corners and stuff are really line up with each other. It just kind of run off. Back stitch. We had something similar on our front pockets. Remember the hip pockets on the pants where, you know, we just sort of ran off. Okay, this, the 1/4 inch, it can be the outside of your foot, or you can look at the first line. What, it's not the, you know, it's not like, as long as you come close to the measurement, it's okay. All right, okay, now, in order for things to lay down right, this is an important little detail that you should listen to. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. A lot of you like to, when you trim or clip, you like to trim and you go real close. Like that's going to solve the problem. You never trim unless there is something called for. Basically, when you trim, you should never trim more than leave a 1/4, because you still have to deal with the fact that things have to lay flat. If you're going to go too close, you're going to have the seam stick up and it becomes an ugly little edge. And you get more bulk than what you wanted. So in here, because it's folded, you have to grate the corner, trim it. Now in here, because we're going to turn it and there is no seam here, you're going to clip where the seam is. And if you want to, you can grate that, and we'll grate that. And now follow me. We're going to press this whole thing. I'll show you how to press it.
What?
I have a sore throat, so you gotta be nice to me tonight. Because I'm not feeling that well, but you're always nice to me. So. All right. Okay. Now we got the little. Oh, Nina. Some of the students are interested in buying these. They can get in touch with you, right? What does your husband charge? $25. $25. This is a must.
Handmade, yeah.
Okay, now I take the little tailor board and I'm going to press this open. Oh, Danielle, you want to go in my box and get my turner? This is a real privilege. He can go in my box. You know that bamboo thing that's for turning? A turner. That's it. Okay, both of these seams are pressed open. And thank you. And then also, where is that the sleeve board? This is another must. These are things that you want to write on your birthday list and on your Christmas list. Yeah. That's how you get your stuff. Because that's what I did. And my family was grateful because they didn't have to think about what am I going to get my mother or my wife or whatever. So this way you just tell them, and then soon enough you have a hem, you have a sleeve roll, you know. Okay, now I'm going to press the, now this one is slightly curved, but actually it comes out better. Don't stretch it if you work it flat. It gives it a better, because we don't want it to bulge. We want it to, at least I had this, you know.